pivot. All right, we're going to be talking now about that transition of you from an independent business owner transitioning into a franchisor. And this can be very difficult for a lot of you in a variety of ways. So I want to, and I may be skipping through some of this a little quickly. So first off, the pillars of franchising. So when somebody talks about franchise development, that's really the franchise sales process. That's everything from marketing to engaging with them, awarding them a franchise, and then they move into the operations side of things when we start training them. So franchise development is all about marketing and franchise sales. And then the marketing, we're going to talk about in a little while about all the different ways to not only find and award franchisees, but also what kind of marketing support are you providing them. Customer service, right? This is, first of all, think of the franchisees. They're your customers, well, they're business partners, but they're like a customer, but also teaching them how to work with your customers that you're already an expert in. Then the operations, that's training the franchisee, getting them up and running, and everything else that's involved in supporting them in running a successful franchise. The business office, that's all the back office stuff that you're going to be doing. It's keeping track of the FDDs, collecting that item 23 to prove that you did disclose them and you waited at least 14 days. It's really rare when anybody sells a franchise, on the 15th day, right? From the time you engage with someone, taking them through the discovery process, even if they're like, damn, this is exactly what I want, by the time they get their money put together and get ready to sign documents, it almost always goes out 90 to 120 days, even if they're really hot and want to buy your franchise. But it's tracking all of that. It's really, really important in franchising. You are tracking everything in your business office. And technology has come a long way. I told you I've been in franchising for over 40 years. I go back to 1984. The internet had been invented, but nobody was using it yet, right? And there's only really two ways to learn about franchise opportunities. The newspaper, or going to a franchise expo that would draw like 6,000 attendees. Things have changed dramatically. The internet, franchise consultants, matchmakers, brokers, that's changed everything about that. But technology makes not only your life easier, but easier for your franchisees. And they're depending on you to have the kind of technology to help their business run more smoothly. So culture. This is really important. One of the things that I hear a lot, and Steve hears a lot, is I'm worried about losing our culture, right, when I start franchising. First off, you have more control over how a franchisee runs a location for you than employees that are somewhat protected by some stupid knucklehead employment laws, right? You have a franchise agreement they have signed and an operations manual that you're allowed to make changes to any time on how they run the business, right? And they're married together. And after warnings, if they don't stay in line and run the business exactly the way you tell them they're supposed to, you can terminate them and they lose their investment and you can resell the territory. Now, we tell everybody, you don't wait till that point. You see it happening, right? They're not listening to you. They're not growing their business. You hit it head on, try to get them on track. If they can't, you're going to help them exit with honor, right? You're going to help them find a buyer to move them down the road. So you're going to be protecting the culture. This is you and your staff and making sure that you are providing what the culture of the company is and really protecting that culture to make sure that everyone speaks the company's culture. Leaders, all right. I don't know what kind of a leader you are and how many people you have on your team. Hopefully you're a pretty good leader. You know how to motivate your employees. Well, now it's totally different, right? Now you're going to be coaching and mentoring business owners, executives. It's more coaching and mentoring now, right? And they are not employees. You can't fire them. So you need to be on your game all the time, making sure that you're bringing energy, that people see you, even if you're having a bad day. You've got to walk the talk all the time to make sure that people see you as the leader of the organization. And it'll go all the way down through your organization out into the field with the franchisees. As I said, now you're going from a Wayne's Pizza to you're going to be a franchise system. Now, you may be the kind of brand that everything doesn't have to look exactly the same and cookie cutter, especially if you're working out of a home office. That's even totally different. There's a lot of franchisors that allow some variations in a brick and mortar based on the region they're in, everything from menu to maybe the facade on the outside of the building. I remember McDonald's first allowed people in California, okay, we're going to a sandstone, we're doing it, but where before that, everything looked identical. All right, so now your main focus will be, and this is a transition, as I was saying earlier, right? You're struggling to sell some franchises in the beginning because they don't have franchisees for them to talk to. So you're going to be finding potential franchisees, awarding them, not selling, right? Training those franchisees and really helping them build strong unit economics so that your royalties are coming back to you. Remember, you're trying to push them to grow because that's the only way you're going to make money now is off those royalties. So as you transition into this role, who's going to be taking over your current responsibilities? All right? It's not going to be an abrupt shift. Yeah, have a question?
What do you mean by awarding franchises?
So the whole point of franchising is you're not just selling them, and anybody that walks up with money can buy a franchise, right? I'm not sure if you're a good fit, right? It's FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to have people come in. I mean, look at Maya's situation, right? She is talking with so many prospects, candidates now, that they're seeing so many getting sold. It's that fear, oh shoot, I'm going to miss out. I really want to buy one of these. You don't let anybody buy a franchise from you. Actually, one of the problems with the new emerging franchisor is you're sitting there a year later and you haven't sold anyone yet because nobody's good enough. You're looking for your duplicate, right? Your identical twin. They're not out there, folks, right? You want good, smart business people that will work hard, follow a system, right? You're not looking for mavericks that think they're going to reinvent the wheel. It's somebody that wants to be part of a team. As I said, most of these people have not owned a business before. You're going to be getting people that this is their first shot at opening a business. Now, you'll get some that have owned several businesses, but most of these people, it's their first shot. All right. As I said, this is way different. They're not your employee. They're a business partner. Most of the time, it's going to be a 10-year agreement they're signing with you. So you've got to coach them and mentor them much differently than if they were employees, right? It's, like I said, it's a mentor coach. They don't want to be dictated to. They want to feel like you're there to support them and help them. One of the things somebody asked last night about how often should we go in the field and visit them. All right, and they got into the making sure that everything's being done right. You don't want them to feel like you're the police coming to visit them, right? Even though you are going to be checking on compliance. But you want them to be excited that somebody from the corporate office has planned a trip. They know they're coming. Of course, they're going to spit shine everything, right? But the point is, you're not trying to catch them doing something wrong. They need to feel like they've got the support of the office.
Question?
Yes.
She spoke about how she had an interior marketing firm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there other processes like accounting or taxes? Like, as a franchisor, are you helping with that kind of detail, or do they?
You can be. That the more systematized everything is, the better off both you are and the franchisee. The franchisee wants this to be as seamless as possible. The more you do for them or help them, they love it. So they can just focus on making money. All right. So many franchisors have sometimes a custom software program that everybody is on. Sometimes it's just QuickBooks, right? Whatever it is, you want to be able to track what they're doing easily, see what they're doing, and if you can do it daily on some type of a dashboard, and then they can compare how others are doing it, the better off you are. You're allowed to charge a technology fee to franchisees. We tell all of our clients, put that in the FDD, even though maybe you don't have any software costs at this time, prepare for that so that you are allowed to charge a technology fee up to, what, $300-400 when that time comes. So, happiness gets back to them, how they're feeling, right? They're looking, they want to feel like they have control of their business with your support. Not that you're doing everything for them or telling them how to do everything. They want to feel like they are progressing, they're growing. So you need to have a plan for them, right? You should know the metrics of your business, even though it's often slightly different than the way you're running your business. That happens a lot. We'll have the corporate office is much larger, maybe offering a couple of services that the franchisee's not going to start off. They may start off in a much smaller square footage space, whatever that might be, right? But they need to understand, okay, if I do this, and this, the metrics say that I should be here. You want to make that path very easy to show them how to get there, and that you're coaching them to go along that path. Remember, it's all about them making money, so royalties are coming back to you. as I said, they want to feel like they're part of a system, part of a team. You're not looking for the maverick that, no, I've done it this way and I'm going to do it this, right? You're looking for somebody who really wants to be part of your system and part of your team. And that sense of purpose, right? They understand what their goals are and how your business model is going to help them achieve that and get to that point. Okay, so your goal is to, as soon as possible, get enough royalties coming in that you're breaking even, right? It's covering your corporate expenses there at the office, salaries, whatever that might be. So the faster you get franchisees up and running, the faster that will happen. And as I said, awarding that first franchise sometimes can take a lot of time. Hopefully, you know someone that wants to be a franchisee, an employee, a friend, family member, customer, because they know you, they believe in you. Also, your first 1 or 2 franchisees, your trailblazers, you can cut them a deal. If it says the franchise fee is $50,000, you can discount for them, you can do whatever you want. It's just an amendment that goes to their franchise agreement. It's easy to justify, hey, they jumped on board, they had no franchisees to talk to. Wow, I got to that pretty quick. Hold on just a second. I'm going to make sure I didn't leave out a comment. Oh, I know what else. So, getting back to what I said earlier, so oftentimes a new franchisor, at the end of the year, nobody was good enough, they didn't sell a franchise. And then sometimes they go the other extreme. Oh, shoot, I need some money, I better just start selling franchises. Then they'll put some on board that they shouldn't, right? You want to scrutinize, are they a good fit? Do they fit culturally? Are they going to be a good team player? Are they going to help mentor other franchisees? That's what you're looking for. But nobody's perfect. You just want someone that's smart and will follow the system and the plan that you lay out there. Yes?
Among your clients or your personal experience with other companies, when companies, they want to start franchising out, geographically, do they give the franchise out in the same state? It's easier in proximity to control or other states? Which one do you prefer? So usually, getting back to what I said, it's somebody they tend to be in your area, right? Although you'll have customers come into brick and mortars from other states, say, wow, I wish we had this here, and you'll start collecting their information, right? Because they're interested in being a franchisee. I think it has more to do with how complicated your brand is to train and support. If it's a really complicated one, it's often good to have them in your region, so it's really easy to support them, go visit them in the beginning. Others, it's not that big of a deal. With Zoom calls now and videos, you're going to have a library of videos you're going to start producing to make it really easy to assist with training franchisees and videos they can use for training their employees. So it's really what you want it to be, but oftentimes you're going to get leads from across the country you weren't even expecting. So it's a game of influence is what it is, right? Getting back to, they're not employees. It's hard to just dictate everything, right? So you're trying to influence them. Getting back to that leadership that I was talking about. The royalty we were talking about, it's all about them feeling like they're getting value for the money they pay, all right? So I get asked all the time, well, what kind of support are they expecting year 2, 3, 4? Whatever you think they need to be happy and continue growing their business. The larger mature franchisees are more difficult, right? They get to a point, they're big, they're making lots of money, and they're sending you huge royalty checks. And it's easy to kind of just forget about them, right? Oh, they don't need my help, they're doing great. You want to make sure you are providing some type of value to them. You're going to maybe start up a franchise advisory council. They're going to be on that council. They help you decide where the brand fund, marketing fund is being spent. You want to keep them involved, right? Making sure they feel like value. Now, what's value? That could be, how are you making my life easier and how are you helping me make money? Those are really the 2 main things. Help me make more money and help make my life easier out here in the field.
Real quick, what kind of things do you see happen if you're not providing that value?
Well, unfortunately, sometimes they don't come back and complain to you. They start complaining to all the other franchisees. And we have a saying in franchising, what is said to one is said to all. So that gets back to you also making sure if you're having a really heated discussion with one of your franchisees, you have to really watch what you say.
They're sort of your best marketing tool, right?
Yeah, they're your best marketing tool, or they can burn you up because they will find other disgruntled franchisees and it starts to build really quick.
They can't exit the agreement necessarily. Right?
Well, they can sell their franchise at any time. you have right of refusal who they want to sell it to. You always control that, who's coming in. But after year 2, they may decide, you know what, this isn't for me, I want to sell it. Or they find another business opportunity, or they built it up and somebody offers them a lot of money. Yeah, I think I'll sell now. So other than that, it's a 10-year agreement, and then as long as they're in compliance, they're going to renew their agreement with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes?
When it comes to corporate-owned stores versus franchises, what's the sweet spot in your experience? Number of, ratio.
Oh.
Corporate-owned stores versus...
In most cases, I say flip all your locations except one into a franchise. Let franchisees run them. They're going to get a big chunk of money up front when they buy it, and you're going to get ongoing royalties. Let other people run those locations for you. It's always good to keep at least one, because you're trying out new marketing all the time that you can pass on to the franchisees. If it's products or things that you're creating, you get to try new products out first, improve them, then you get them out to the field. So 1 or 2 corporate locations is usually all I would say you need, because it takes a staff, right? And you have liability, slip and fall, sexual harassment, fire, flood, smoke. That falls back onto you because you own that branch location, right?
Yeah, I think
All right. Steve, are we going to be set up to be able to do the... Any other questions while we're getting this figured out? Make sure I don't forget
What does
anything.
the transaction look like if you want to buy a franchise from me and it's $40,000? I just send you like an invoice or in QuickBooks, or like how does that work?
Oh, well, I mean, you can use QuickBooks. So we always recommend, first off, that you do some type of an online, either, documents online. And that's mainly so when you email them an FDD, that item 23 that proves that they were disclosed, and you get that back, you always keep that on file. So it's like automatic. And you can see, did they open up the documents, whether it's a DocuSign or one of those online versions. But the actual agreement they're going to be signing can be an online version as well. So they're signing to multiple locations on the franchise agreement. The territory will be filled out exactly what their territory is. In franchising, the one thing that does tend to get negotiated from time to time is a territory, because everybody thinks their territory's different, right? Well, I got a military base, you can't count that population, or I got a college next door, you can't count that. So sometimes that will be tweaked. We always recommend, here's the standard, and always use specific parameters like zip codes or things of that nature. So this is your territory.